form at 38. That's a problem. That doesn't seem like a Kyoya thing. I don't know. I think I could possibly get away with some hair dye. I could go as Erwin from Attack on Titan, because we were roughly the same build. But I have to get rid of these glasses and get contacts, because he doesn't wear glasses. Those don't really work very well when you're in battle, I think. But yeah, I could do Erwin Smith. Who's a hilarious, like, I love that character. I say hilarious, which is not a thing to say about Erwin, because when you stop and think about it, Erwin's like, we're all gonna die, who's with me? That's like his whole shtick. Yeah, it's true. So, thank you, darling, thank you. You, darling, in February. Am I looking forward to season 3 of Black Butler? You bet your ass I am. I have no idea, like, when it's gonna come down the wire or if we're gonna get it. I mean, I'm an actor, so I'm the last person to know these things. I have nothing to do with the acquisitions. But hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, and all of us on that show would love to reprise our roles, because it's a great show, it's a great franchise to be part of. I mean, my God, look at me, I'm traveling all the way here from the US to talk to you about Black Butler. I don't think I'd be here otherwise, it's weird. So yeah, love that show. You, darling, with the awesome hat.
Who do you ship with Grell?
Who do I ship with Grell?
Yeah!
Him. I ship you with Grell. Come here for a second. Oh, I need a picture of this. Please come out. So like this. Oh my God. This is great. Wait, I'm getting a selfie. Thank you. Well done. Things you don't think you're going to be doing when you wake up in the morning. I love it. You with the pink wig and you're holding up the blue winged cat. Way back there. You're from Fairy Tales, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to really project, my dear, because it's hard to hear up here. Am I planning on going to any Swedish cons? Not currently, but if they ask me, I'll go. Oh my God, I love Sweden. Are you from there? Really? Awesome. Can I go? The power's in your hands, darling. Hey, are there Swedish cons? Are there Swedish anime cons? Really? God, I love anime. I love Sweden. I've been a few times when I was a kid and I used to travel with my father, and I just love it. I think it's beautiful. I would love to go back. Love to go back. So, get them to ask me. I'll say yes. I will say yes. You there in the red, standing up. You'll have to speak up there. Whoa. I'm gonna stand up here. Please. Come up here. Sorry. It may be easier just to call you up. I don't need to embarrass you. Everyone say hi!
Hi!
I love you. Okay, what's your name, darling? Here, step a little. That thing scares me.
Hello. Carrie.
Hello, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Everyone say
Hi, Carrie!
What's your question, sweetie?
I was just wondering, which two of your characters do you ship together?
Which two of my characters I ship together? Oh, that's. Oh. Look at me acting like I haven't thought about this before. I don't know, which two of my characters do you ship together?
I think...
Don't act like you haven't thought about this long enough. We both know you have.
I think maybe Kyoya and Sebastian would...
Kyoya and Sebastian? Okay, I get behind that. They're a good pair. They'd be a great unstoppable team, right? Someone would ask me what would happen to a fight between the two of them. I'm like, they would stop and be like, why are we fighting? I'm gonna buy you a drink. Okay, I can ship that. Thank you, darling. Kyoya and Sebastian. I'm kind of glad you didn't say Sebastian in France, actually. Not that I don't love France, but Sebastian and France would be a really uncomfortable pairing. Someone once asked me to do a routine, like, what would happen if Sebastian and, like, what would it sound like if Sebastian and France met? And my routine off the cuff was like, oh my God, you're so sexy, do you want to come work for me? No. Adventure time, you, darling. What? Did I love having a loving relationship, a love-hate relationship with Britain and Natalia? Yeah, it's hilarious. What do you guys think about that, by the way? Yeah. You're like, yes. I love that France is such a fun character to play because he's that guy. He's the one that like just doesn't care and comes into the room and like just makes everybody fabulously uncomfortable and then leaves. He's like a rainbow fart. You're like, that's a fart, but it's pretty. And everyone's like, what just happened? That just happened. And all those characters, all the other characters in Italia, in one way or another, all very kind of stuffy and like, you know, are just like pent up in various ways. And France is like, oh, come on, just have a little wine. Sign this calendar. It'll be all right. I love being that character, the one that all of them are like, great. Who invited France? True story though, like, try doing that accent anywhere else, like here and in the States, and they love it, they love that accent, but if you go to like Paris, or to French Canada, and they're like here, you'll be like, oh my god, do the French laugh, please, it's so glorious, do the French laugh, and I'm like, oh, and that happens. In like Quebec, they're like, do the French laugh. And they stare at me coldly for many, many, many long moments, and then I go, and they go, not bad. And I walk on. It's weird. It's weird. Italy, the second row. Do I have a voice role? Sorry. Do I have a voice role that I would like to play? That I. Wait, what was that last part? Oh, a type of voice acting. I really like playing. I like playing some of the friends. I like playing bad guys, like villains, like the posh, sophisticated villains, and I've done it quite often, and it's really a lot of fun to do because I'm not at all like that in real life. I'm actually very kind of milquetoast and you know, at best of times, I could never be a successful villain because I would be like, yes, taking over the world! Oh, I have to do things? Never mind. But it's glorious to play bad guys because they're so wonderfully self-actualized. You know, the best of them. They're magnificent because they do things none of us could ever do. But while we may think in our heart of hearts, wow, they're jerks, and I don't want to know them, and I don't agree with what they're doing. But some part of us, I think, is a little envious that they have that much just get up and go. They have that much just drive to do what they do and not be plagued by questions of moral significance. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And I think all of us sometimes feel a little hindered by our conscience, and that's by and large a good thing. To have a conscience and to feel like to, you know, it's doing its job if it keeps you from doing things that are awful. But every now and again I think it's interesting to consider a villain who doesn't have a conscience and how wonderfully, weirdly liberating it is to play those characters because it's therapeutic. I can get away with things in the booth or on stage or in front of a camera that I would never ever forgive myself for in real life. So it's nice. That's one of the best things about acting in general, by the way, is because people are like, what's the appeal? And I'm like, well, the appeal is because I can't decide what the hell I want to do with my life, so I want to pretend to do everything. That's what I love about acting, so thank you. But villains, definitely villains. The suave, sophisticated villains that seem to, they're the ones that are like the chief architects of the plot. The ones that pull all the strings, that are very calm and sophisticated. Maybe sipping tea. They're usually British. In the States. Most villains are British. I don't know why. I like it though. It's pretty cool. You, darling. Not that I'm aware of. Watch me go to Paris and get beaten the hell out of in the street. No one's ever. As far as I know, I hope not. I think no one's ever like sent me anything. I don't know. They may not watch Italia in English over there. I'm sure a lot of the stuff gets a dub in French. And to them, it's, I don't know, I really don't know. All I'm worried about now is none of you were offended by my British accent. Yes, you're doing that. Any character, if I could play any character that I wanted. I think I've answered this before, and I like this. I'm a really big fan of the writer Virginia Woolf. And one of my favorite books ever is a book of hers called Orlando, which is about, you know, this guy named Orlando who grows up in the Elizabethan age and continues to live at the same, go on through various periods of history. He just suddenly finds himself to be immortal, and there's no real explanation, it's just a thing. And about halfway through, toward the 20th century, he wakes up to find himself a woman. He's now female. And so now the way society relates to him is vastly different, and it becomes this wonderful meditation on the gender roles in society and how they've evolved. I would love for that to be either stage play. It has been made into a film. It would make a great anime, in my opinion, because it's got that wonderful richness to it, and God knows anime does not shy away from gender bending, which I love. But I'm really attracted to, first of all, playing characters that are immortal, because I think those characters have been around for so long that their brains have collected so much over the years that they've become sort of this reservoir of the spiritual energy of a number of different ages that they've lived through. And I just love exploring the fictional, albeit fictional, consciousness of such a character, really getting to inhabit what it must be like to live hundreds of lifetimes. And I mean, what wouldn't you do? What wouldn't you feel? I mean, we can't even imagine what someone like that would look, how it would be to look at the world through their eyes. It's really, really cool to just ponder. But the fact that I would be sharing the role with a woman, so we're both on both sides of that gender bending issue in the middle of the book, would be wonderful. I like the idea of sharing a role with someone because I like feeling that I'm part of the continuum of several actors who've taken up the mantle of the same character. It's why stage appeals to me so much. Yes, you have a question. Sure.
What's been the best and worst characters you've ever voiced?
There's never been a worst, and I say that actually truthfully because I mean the thing is, that's not to say that I haven't voiced a character that was a show that maybe I'm not the ideal audience for. But I'm an actor. It's a creative, it's an imaginative position, and I feel if I can't find something to love about the character that I'm playing, it's a failure of my own imagination, not the show's. So luckily, I seem to have imagination enough that I've not yet encountered a character that I just could not get my head around. And as far as best characters, again, Okabe from Steins Gate, because it was such a dramatic turn, but again, it's one way or another all of them, because they all become a part of you, and they all crop up every now and again. Yeah. I love playing Sir Hammerlock? Yes. Yes. Borderlands 2 fans? Any of you? Borderlands 2 fans? Oh my god, awesome. There's like a few, you're like, woo, screaming. True story, I got into Canada because of that voice. I was going to a con in Canada and I had to go through customs, and when I wrote down voice actor on a little customs form, the guy was like, oh yeah, you're a voice actor? Anything I would know? And he looked like a gamer. He just looked, he was about your age, and he just had that look. I'm like, you're a first-person shooter guy. I just something about it. I'm like, are you a gamer? He's like, yes. I'm like, Borderlands 2. He's like, oh my god, I love that game. Oh my god, you're in that? I'm like, yeah. I'm Sir Hammerlock. Instantly, he gets suspicious and no longer believes me. He's like, so now he's got my passport in one hand and the stamp hovering. He's like, do the voice. So here I'm in the middle of like Toronto Airport and customs, and I'm like, hello, Old Hunter! Things need to be shortened by two. You're the one to shoot them. And there's this long, uncomfortable pause. And he's like, welcome to Canada. That's awesome. Get out of here. So that happened. Yeah, thank you. Yes, you darling. You look adorable, by the way. Say again, say again, say again. Sebastian and Kyoya went on a date. I don't think they, this is going to sound so dirty, I don't think they talk a lot. I don't know. It's weird. I'll have to think about that actually. That's hard to improvise because they're both very button-up characters. They don't just, they're neither one of them are very frequently the first to talk. They have it all up here, you see. You have to be the one to finesse it out of them. So that'd be an interesting and awkward and very intense first date. I would totally love to see it. Yes, you! Waving and waving and waving. Yes, you! What? Do you think who in Oran should have ended up with Haruhi? You think Kyoya ended up with Haruhi? No, I don't. No, I think Kyoya had a thing for Tamaki. And that is how I played him. That's not to say that that's necessarily what was there, but I think Kyoya and Haruhi had a kind of brother-sister relationship. I think he came to really respect her as an equal, because they were kind of two sides of the same coin. Both of them kind of standing outside of the craziness of everyone else's antics and kind of in this privileged place to be able to judge it and be like, oh yes, whatever. So I think by the end of the show, the evolution of Kyoya's character is such that, especially when you see the episode of And Then Kyoya Met Him, it's clear that Tamaki just came crashing into his consciousness like a meteorite, and he had no idea what to do about it. And that's typically how someone reacts when they realized, oh my god, I'm in love. What? And Kyoya was a character that hadn't made room for that kind of thing. He was very busy trying to, please daddy, son of a bitch that he was. And so he never considered this, and suddenly this cute, crazy French blonde, sounds familiar, comes into his life, and it just kind of shows him that, just stop, take it easy, have a little fun, what are you doing? And I think Kyoya fell in love with him, very clearly. I would have. And Tamaki's the kind of character that at first, I think he just represented the missing part of Kyoya's life. Now, that said, I don't believe Tamaki necessarily reciprocated. I think Tamaki loved Haruhi, and himself a lot. But I think as the show evolved, as the characters all evolved, it's one of the great things about that show is the characters all go through these stunningly wonderful and convincing character arcs where they change. How you feel about them at the beginning changes dramatically by the end. And Kyoya, I think, saw that Tamaki and Haruhi maybe on some level belonged together and tried to make that happen at the end because he felt, here are two people in some way that he loved dearly. Haruhi as his sister and Tamaki as his crazy French blonde friend. And he thought, well, I can't ever have that, so I will try to get them together. That's my interpretation, just mine. That's not canon, so please don't kill me if you don't like that read. I think the show sustains many different interpretations. Sebastian, you'll have to speak up, darling. I'm so sorry. What's my opinion on CL and Sebastian as a relationship? It's kind of creepy because CL's a kid. I much prefer Sebastian and Grell. I do. I like redheads, what can I say? I like brunettes and I like redheads, and together it's just, it's perfect. Black and red always goes together. So, yeah, that's it. Personally, the whole CL Sebastian thing, I'm like, no, CL is more like, now CL may well be in love with Sebastian, but I don't know that it's reciprocated. I think Sebastian just sees CL as dinner, and then later his opinion evolves to have a great deal of respect for this trust fund brat who grows up into actually being a rather capable young man. And I think as what Sebastian is, he begins to kind of fuse. He is a demon, so it's hard to know really what a demon thinks because he's not human. And we kind of ascribe human emotions to a demon at our peril, I think. He's just sort of a force of nature in that he looks human and is a great butler. That's all a mask he's wearing. It's his camouflage, so to speak, so that he can eat. But I think, especially by season 2, there's clearly something going on there where his regard for CL's growth is such that now the mask he wears and whatever is underneath it, which you cannot know, has begun to fuse. And I think he deeply respects and even in some ways idolizes CL. So it's why I really like the way season 2 ends for that reason. But good question. You with the axe. What? I still quit. Come on. They're just calling you guys up. That's easier. Because I'm like, hello, what? And I get closer, I'll hear you when I won't. Sorry, love. Actually, don't kill me with your guitar axe. What's your name, sweetie?
Courtney.
Say hello.
Hi, Courtney.
What was your...
Kiss, marry, kill, Todd, Vic, and Travis.
Kiss, marry, kill, Todd, Vic, Travis? Oh my god. I've actually played this before. Let me see if I can remember. I would marry Travis, because I'd ask Laura, surely, he's a great husband. Todd for the next option. And I guess that means I'd have to kill Vic. I don't want to kill Vic, but apparently I have no options. So, thank you. You like that? Make a fan fiction, I'll read it. How much time do I have left? Oh, I have time for one more question, and I have to wrap it up. So let me see if we've got a good one. You, darling, standing up. Come on, let everyone see you, because you look fantastic, by the way. Isn't this amazing? What's your name, love?
My name's Katrina.
Hello.
What's your question? The last one of the panel. I hope it's a good one.
This will show my age, but what did you enjoy most about Trinity Blood?
Shows your age. Shut up.